Hi everyone, and welcome to the Spore Squad. This presentation is for the San Jose Animal Care Center fosters, but will cover general information about ringworm care that will be useful for everyone. To complete this course, watch the video lecture, review the squad manual, watch the remainder of the YouTube playlist, and pass the squad quiz. After that, you'll be certified to take on ringworm kittens. As you probably guessed, the Spore Squad is all about treating kittens with ringworm. Ringworm is a fungus, not a worm, and there's actually many species of ringworm which can cause disease in all sorts of animals, including cats, rodents, and people. Ringworm typically causes patchy, scaly hair loss around the face, ears, and paws, but can be all over the body in severe cases. Ringworm animals are contagious to other people and animals through direct contact with the spores on their body and the spores that they leave in their environment. An animal with ringworm is like a little salt shaker, leaving a trail of infectious spores everywhere they go. Luckily, this isn't the type of fungus that grows in the environment. Think of the spores as little M&Ms dropped on the ground. They're just going to whiz around everywhere, but they're not going to take hold and grow and create more. Ringworm is an infection of the skin, and it requires a break in the skin in order to enter and take hold. This means that even microscopic cuts caused by scratching yourself, using a razor, or for pets, this can include flea bites or scratching themselves, provides an entryway for ringworm to establish itself. Children, pregnant women, and those with compromised immune systems or skin disease are more likely to get ringworm infection. If you have ringworm, athlete's foot, or jock itch, then you are contagious to other people and pets. You need to make sure that your ringworm is completely covered by a 4-sided band-aid, which prevents those little spores from leaking out. And of course, follow up with your regular family doctor. In order to prevent infection in yourself, your pets, and other people in your home, you're going to need to keep your ringworm kittens completely isolated. This means a spare bathroom or bedroom which can be easily cleaned, and keeping all of their supplies and laundry totally separate from every other part of the house. You're going to reduce contamination of your home by wearing gloves and or washing your hands after handling kittens, having separate clothes that you wear when touching kittens, and doing daily cleaning in the kitten area to minimize the number of spores which are in the environment. You're also going to prevent cuts or any other thing which disrupts your skin. This means clipping both human and kitty nails short. Your kittens need to be kept in a totally separate space, which is easily cleaned and ideally has no carpet. This could be a bathroom or climate-controlled garage or spare bedroom. Kittens are not allowed to be roaming around the house since they are infectious, and anywhere they go and anything they touch should be considered contaminated. If you are just taking home ringworm kittens, we recommend you keep them in a plastic or metal container, which can easily be cleaned, rather than a playpen, since the playpen will need to be destroyed after ringworm treatment. If the kittens have already contaminated the playpen, keep on using it since we're going to have to destroy it anyway. Unfortunately, ringworm is contagious to the pets in your home, so you're going to want to make sure they are kept completely separated from other animals, and that if you touch your ringworm kittens, you thoroughly cleanse yourself before touching your pets, as to not spread infection. Keep your pets up to date on flea medications and treat all skin infections and allergies. That way your pets are less likely to get ringworm. Unfortunately, if you think your pets have ringworm, you're going to need to follow up with your regular vet, as the shelter is unable to pay for this treatment. Unfortunately, while you're fostering ringworm kittens, we won't be able to send you home with other batches of kittens or overnighters until these kittens are cleared. When you're handling ringworm kittens, you're going to want to think about minimizing the risk of getting infected yourself and spreading ringworm throughout your home or wherever you go after handling ringworm kittens. If you have long hair, make sure that it is tied up and that you're wearing garments that you don't mind getting dirty and or bleaching. When you're just cleaning the cage or visiting them quickly, I recommend a short sleeve shirt which can be kept clean, and you can wash your forearms after handling the kittens. If you're planning on doing some serious snuggle time, I recommend a long sleeve shirt which can be contaminated and then thrown in the laundry. The long sleeve will help protect you from scratches on your forearms. Of course, make sure that you are wearing gloves when handling ringworm kittens and washing your hands and cleaning under your nails after handling them. The spores love to hang out under those nails, so watch out. Anything that is touched by the kittens is contaminated. So if your clothes touch anything in the kitten's enclosure or area or the kittens themselves, those clothes are dirty and need to be put in a separate ringworm laundry. You're going to want to bag up these clothes and wash them later with bleach and not mix them in with your general laundry. If you get super disgusting and you have kitten goo all over your face and hair, definitely wash your face, neck, and or shower as needed to prevent contamination of the rest of your home. Now moving on to ringworm treatment, the real fun stuff. Ringworm treatment consists of lime sulfur, which is a medicated bath given every 3 to 4 days, and itrafungal, which is an antifungal medication that's given once a day for 21 days. Between these two drugs, we're attacking the ringworm from the outside and the inside, and we expect cure between 60 and 90 days later. Treatment is based on weight. If kittens are less than 2 pounds, then they just get lime sulfur spot treatment, not full dips, and no itrafungal, because this can be dangerous to young kittens. Kittens and cats which are more than 2 pounds are allowed to get full dips with lime sulfur and itrafungal daily. As kittens become larger, their treatment will change based on their weight. Lime sulfur smells of rotten eggs. It also tastes terrible and stings if you get it in your eyes or cuts. Because of its bright yellow color, it'll ruin all of your clothing, sheets, shower curtains, and anything else that's in the room, and can actually discolor metal jewelry. For these reasons, we recommend having dedicated lime sulfur bathing clothes, nasty old towels or rags you don't care about, and taking off all your jewelry beforehand. In order to prepare for lime sulfur dipping, put on your funky clothes and goggles, and set up a clean carrier or cage with a heat pad on high. This will be for the kittens after they get their dip. Put some nasty towels in the dryer as well to get them as toasty as possible. Mix up your lime sulfur using 1 cup of lime sulfur concentrate to 1 gallon of warm water. This is double the dilution recommended on the bottle, but studies show that this dose is most effective at treating ringworm. You may want to do this in a large bucket or container, so that way you can keep the leftovers for next time. Now we're ready to actually dip the kitten. Do not pre-wet the cat because that'll dilute the lime sulfur even further. Place your kitten in a bathtub, basin, or shallow litter pan, which will help collect the lime sulfur dip. Note that we're not actually dipping the kitten in a bucket of lime sulfur, but are gently spraying them down and saturating them. We do not recommend having kittens sit in the lime sulfur like in this picture because it actually can be uncomfortable for them and most cats don't like sitting in water. You need to fully saturate the kitten down to their skin, and there's a couple ways to do this. We recommend using a dedicated rose or garden sprayer, which can be pressurized and then the kitten sprayed using the very gentle nozzle. Rose sprayers are preferable over regular handheld sprayers because they're quieter and have a more concentrated spray that is gentle. You can also use a rag saturated in lime sulfur and gently squeeze the solution over the kitten. For spot cleaning and around the face, we recommend using cotton buds or cut up sponges. Whatever technique or combination of techniques you use is fine as long as the cat is not stressed out and you get him totally wet. Most cats get ringworm on their face, so it's important to be very vigilant when lime dipping around their face, eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. Not only is it very nasty, it smells terrible, tastes terrible, and stings their eyes, but this is the place that is probably the most infected, so we gotta make sure we get those spots. It's okay to apply it to the outside of the ear, but try to minimize getting the sulfur dip in the eyes, nose, or mouth. Once your kittens are completely neon yellow, it's time to dry them off. Do not rinse them, but do towel dry them so that way they don't get chilled. Get your hot towels out of the dryer and gently towel dry the kitten until they are no longer damp. Put them in the clean, dry carrier you provided earlier, and they'll groom themselves and finish drying in there. Use this time to clean their primary enclosure, and once the kitten is no longer moist, put them back in their clean enclosure. If your kitten starts shivering, that means they are extremely cold and you need to warm them up ASAP. Hold a hair dryer on low 1 to 2 feet away using your dominant hand. Using your non-dominant hand, fluff the kitten and their fur while keeping your hand between the hair dryer and the kitten. This will prevent them from getting burnt and allow you to gauge the temperature coming from the hair dryer. Allow them to completely dry using this technique while always making sure that your hand stays between the hair dryer and the kitten until they are nice and poofy. Next time, be careful not to let them get chilled and either preemptively blow dry them, make sure that their warm carrier is super warm, and make sure that they are towel dried adequately before being put in the carrier. Although bathing can be very stressful for humans and cats, do your best to make it as fun as possible. If your kitten likes treats, churu, or yummy snacks, give them that during and after their bath. Try to incorporate a playtime right after their bath and petting if that's what your kitten enjoys. If you are really struggling with bathing your kittens and they are hating it, then talk to shelter staff about alternatives to lime dipping and we'll see what we can do. Never force a kitten to be lime dipped. You're just going to create a behavioral nightmare later on in life for this poor cat. For the tiny kittens under 2 pounds, instead of doing full dips as just described, use a cotton ball, rags, or small sponge to just apply the lime sulfur dip to the areas of hair loss or infection. Talk to shelter staff about what areas are glowing so you know where to concentrate your efforts. You're going to follow all other steps, but you're not going to fully saturate the kitten, and this will help prevent them from getting totally chilled. Once your kittens are more than 2 pounds, then you're free to do full dips. We recommend scheduling a video recheck 24 hours after diagnosis so you can talk with an experienced volunteer and they can answer any of your questions about lime dipping and the treatment process. You can schedule additional rechecks to talk about your ringworm treatment as needed. Because we want your kitten to come to the shelter as little as possible, since that risks infecting other kittens, so instead of coming in every 2 to 3 weeks for wellness, schedule them every 4 to 5 weeks. In addition, please schedule video consults for any other illnesses that your kitten may get. In order to verify cure and declare your kitten free of ringworm, we need to do cultures of them weekly. This needs to be done before the lime sulfur bath, since this will wash the spores away. We recommend doing this either immediately before the dip or the day before a dip to get the most number of spores. To collect the samples for toothbrush culture, open the toothbrush package without touching the bristles with your hands. Brush the cat from areas of low risk to high risk to avoid spreading ringworm further across the cat. Start with the general body, sides, and belly, then go to the feet, face, and finally focusing on areas of infection or hair loss. Take the toothbrush and put it in a clean Ziploc bag, seal it, disinfect the outside with a rescue wipe, and then label it with the animal's ID number and date. After you've done the culture, take it to the shelter and they'll plate it from there. Cultures are taken weekly, either by you or shelter staff during wellness appointments. Cultures need to grow for 14 to 21 days before being declared negative, and we need at least 2 consecutive negative cultures before we consider a kitten cleared. 60 to 90 days after starting treatment, you can expect an email from shelter staff letting you know that your kittens are cured. Finally, we're going to talk about the all-important cleaning and disinfection. When it comes to ringworm, the most important thing you need to think about is removal of spores from contaminated items and the environment. Disinfection is the cherry on top, which will inactivate remaining spores, but remember that smart removal of contaminated items and elbow grease is way more important than disinfection. When it comes to daily cleaning, you're mostly wanting to minimize the number of spores floating around the environment, which is very important for helping your kittens not get reinfected. Of course, it's also important to minimize household contamination. You're going to want to do spot cleaning by removing litter and food bowls as per usual, but also changing and laundering the bedding daily and vacuuming and disinfecting the floors. When it comes to disinfection, you can choose to either use 1 to 16 rescue solution or wipes, which are provided by the shelter. You can use household bleach diluted freshly 1 to 32, but bleach must be made up fresh every 24 hours since it's rapidly inactivated by light. The other drawback of bleach is that the surface must be completely cleaned before the bleach is applied. In either case, you're going to want to leave on your disinfectant for 10 minutes, rinse, and thoroughly dry. When it comes to deep or weekly cleaning, we recommend doing a deep clean of your kitten's area twice a week around the same time that you do the lime sulfur baths. This can either be the day before the bath or when your kittens are drying in their carrier. And the reason why we recommend this is because after the bath, we want to put the kittens in a clean enclosure that has the minimal number of spores to help prevent reinfection. During deep clean, you're going to want to launder all fabric items and toys using hot water, bleach, and dryer on high. You're going to thoroughly clean and disinfect all hard items, and thoroughly clean and disinfect the cage or the room. Ringworm laundry should be done in 3 loads. One is your general kitten laundry, which might have poop on it and may smell a little bit like lime dip. Your actual lime dip rags and towels, which will definitely be stained yellow and smell terrible. And then I recommend doing a separate load for your contaminated clothing. This way we keep poop separate from nasty, smelly lime dip, separate from clothing that you may want to wear again someday. Make sure you keep all ringworm laundry separate from your uncontaminated kitten laundry or household laundry. After ringworm kittens are cleared, you're going to need to do a complete and thorough decontamination of your home. The first thing you're going to do is remove all items which cannot be thoroughly disinfected. This includes all bedding and towels, toys, playpens, paperwork, medications, feeding supplies, and anything else you can think of which has been contaminated and cannot be cleaned. The shelter can replace many kitten-related items, so let us know after you're done cleaning and we'll see what we can get for you. Next, you're going to thoroughly clean and disinfect hard items, such as anything that is plastic or metal, and these can be reused for your next batch of kittens. After you've thrown away, cleaned and disinfected all contaminated items, you can then move on to the rest of your home. Carpets can be vacuumed and then saturated with 1 to 16 rescue and or commercially steam cleaned to inactivate the spores. If you have hardwood or laminate, mop using 1 to 16 rescue, rinse and then dry. All exposed carpets and furniture should get a similar treatment. Once you're happy that you think your home is nice and clean, we recommend doing toothbrush samples of your home. Take samples of parts of your house that you think may be contaminated and we'll plate them for you at the shelter. This is an optional step, but gives some people an extra sense of security knowing that these cultures come back negative. So now the inevitable question, when do I get to foster again? The first thing you need to make sure is that all infected animals and people have left your home before you bring home more foster kittens. Do a complete and thorough deep cleaning as described 2 to 3 times until you're satisfied that the house is spick and span. Then optionally do environmental cultures. After your house has been cleaned and or declared negative on culture, then you'll be okay to take overnighters or fosters once again. Thanks everyone for sticking in there and learning about ringworm. Make sure that you review the squad manual and watch the rest of the YouTube playlist, which has tons of great instructional videos like how to dime dip cats, and then take the squad quiz. I look forward to seeing you guys in the ringworm wards at the shelter, and until then, talk to you next time.